Over time of saving money, you start looking at what you use on a daily basis and trying to find maybe alternatives that last longer, that can save you daily. And I like to call these low waste frugal swaps. So versus buying this thing that cost more over time, is way more wasteful, I'm going to spend a little bit more and buy this item that I can use over and over again. So in this video, I want to share 10 of those low waste frugal alternatives that are going to last longer, help you waste less money as well. One of them is very unique, very somewhat awkward for me, but I'm going to share it in this video and hopefully you receive it well, because it's one of my things that I use daily and I actually really love it, but it's really weird. The first one I'm going to share with you is not weird, however. It is my soap dispensers. Basically, I have bought all of these reusable soap dispensers that I buy this big, huge thing for and just refill. I looked today just to see what the cost is if you buy, you know what I'm talking about, the little plastic ones that you can just throw away and replace. And at my local store, those were going around 22 cents per fluid ounce. This thing was going around 12 cents per fluid ounce. So you're paying almost a double the cost in order to buy the disposable ones plus the plastic that you're wasting versus if you went out and bought these. Now, I like the plastic ones of these. I do not like the decorative metal soap dispensers that you find that are so pretty, because what happens is they start to rust and your soap will come out green and weird colored and they get crusty. What I found with these plastic ones is they don't do that. I even have one, this keeps my dish soap by my sink. Now you can see I have two different versions. I really don't care. I think this one, you can get the soap size and this size. I think I got this one at Target. I think I got this one on Amazon. I will link whatever I can find in this video that I share down below if you want to check it out. You don't have to buy it from that link, but maybe it'll give you a little bit better of an idea. But you can definitely save a lot of money if you go with these refillable soap dispensers. You can even save more per fluid ounce if you pick up this version at like a Costco or your big, huge marketplace where they're larger and they're less per fluid ounce. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and get right into the even more awkward one. Let's just go back about 2.5 years ago. I had to have a very not fun unwanted surgery in a very awkward place and needed to utilize something that can also be referred to as postpartum, okay? And it's this thing. And you're like, what is that thing? Well, if you've had a baby, you know what this thing is. Or if you've ever seen a bidet, you know what this is. Basically, it's your own little portable bidet. I had to utilize it after that surgery. We won't go into that. Trust me, 0 on the fun scale. But this thing I came to love. Why? Because it was like having a bidet and you save on toilet paper. Great, right? I know this is the one that's really awkward because I'm talking about, number 2s. But this is wonderful. I keep this by my toilet. I know, awkward. Very awkward for me to talk about this. Hopefully I don't get any weird comments in the comments section. But this is great because I don't care that it's cold water. You've got people in other countries that actually have bidets and use them on a normal basis. We don't have bidets on a normal basis here in the United States. You can now buy them where they can attach to your toilet. I don't do that. I prefer this really inexpensive version that you can just go on Amazon, search postpartum items, and this is great. Helps clean, you feel refreshed way more than you do with just toilet paper, and you save on toilet paper. Awkward. Please keep the comments nice. Back to something more practical. These thingies, so what are these? Let's talk about dish cleaning. So there are some dishes that you can't put in the dishwasher or you still need to scrub before you put in the dishwasher. I used to use these scrubbers called Scrub Mommies. If you ever watched Shark Tank, the company was called Scrub Daddy, and it was this circle, smiley face, fantastic scrubber, and then the Scrub Mommy version had the rough version on one side and the soft version on the other. I used these things for years until I started really understanding the amount of grossness that stays inside of a sponge that you're not washing, and it grows and it's on a daily basis and it's just sitting in your sink. And then if you think, oh, I'll replace them more often, you think, oh, these things are actually expensive. This is a lot of wasted money that I'm just throwing away. So we started just using ordinary dishcloths. Well, the problem with ordinary dishcloths, great and all, you could just use one a day, throw it in the wash machine. You don't have that nasty bacteria worry. And of course, you could also put your sponge in the microwave. You've probably heard that. It kills the bacteria. But how often do you have to put it in the microwave? Is that good for it? It starts to break down more. Still expensive and wasteful, whereas dishcloths are not. The problem was dishcloths don't actually get the scrub, you know, the real rough stuff. And these things I found on Amazon, and let me tell you, when I tell you that they're rough and they scrub, they're awesome. So get yourself a pair of these. Again, just toss it in the washing machine. It's reusable. You're not going to waste. It's going to get those little pesky things that you can't get off with a regular dishcloth. You're not going to waste sponges, and you're not going to have that nasty bacteria growing. The next thing I want to talk about are plastic versus glass containers. Now, you've probably all had a set of these at one point, probably thrown them out, had to get rid of them after a while, probably have also heard about the plastic issues. Well, this is an old one. You can see we're slowly getting rid of all of them as they break down. You can see this is very nicely spaghetti stained. And then we also have, and this we've had sets of these since we got married, so a decade and a half, and it's the Pyrex glass. Great alternative for storing your food, and they would come with these lids here. Now, some people complained that these lids started to break down over time. We haven't really experienced that, and that also might be because we've used plastic containers as well over time, but I am fed up with going through these items. Now, you've probably seen the glass containers with the snap locks. Well, my problem with those, we had a set of those on it, plastic containers, is if you've ever seen the actual snap part, so this little corner part that snaps on, the way they used to make them, it was all one plastic piece. So if you can imagine, if you've seen this before, that plastic piece was clear, but after use, the seam where it kept bending and snapping would turn white and then eventually crack. That's a breakdown in that plastic. Well, our neighbor made us some cookies and brought us some cookies in a container like this that I'm getting ready to show you. And then when I thought about this idea of this video, I thought, I have to share this with you because there's a company, or there's companies that have fixed this problem. So I'm going to zoom in or bring this up to the camera so you can see what this is. So you can see what they've done is, instead of having where this is one big plastic piece, they've created this hinge. So this plastic never wears down. It can snap right over the bowl with no problem. This part does not move, and this is on a hinge. So I thought, is that not genius? That is fantastic. So I went and I found a set of these. Here's the square one, and they come in different colors. This is just teal. Sorry for the loud noise of glass, but they are fantastic. You just close it, and I feel like these are going to last a lot longer because of these new hinges. The next one, I've kept one of these bowls out just to show you this, and some of you may already use these Beeswax Wraps. Basically, they are in place of plastic wrap, which obviously you use and you throw away. Well, basically, this Beeswax Wrap, you would just take one that fits on a bowl. Let's say you had a bowl without a lid and you just wanted to cover it for a bit, and you almost warm up the wrap with your hand a bit, and then you simply just mold it around and it seals into the bowl. And then when you're done with it, you take it off and you rinse it with soapy cool water. You don't use warm, and then you let it air dry. These last, the notes on Beeswax Wraps say they last about a year or so, and then they are compostable. So these are also a great alternative if you're the type of person that bakes a lot, cooks a lot. I know I use plastic wrap, or in the case these, for when I'm doing my sourdough, when I'm keeping it overnight, I'll wrap it so that it continues to grow. So these are a great alternative to that. Again, I'll link the ones that I found down below, but you can find them pretty much anywhere. And these are just a great reusable option. Before I get into the next item, let me know down in the comments below what's something that you've bought that is a great frugal swap, that is a great frugal alternative that produces less waste, lasts longer, is more cost effective. Put it down in the comments below. I would love to read it. The next one are glass straws. I have the NutriBullet. Yes, so I make a smoothie, a protein smoothie every single morning, and I love a straw. Or if you're a straw person, hands up, put it in the comments down below. If you're also anti-paper straw, put it in the comments down below. Now I know the issues with plastic straws, that's why I'm showing you the glass straws, but let me tell you, one thing that doesn't mix is paper and water. So when you've got paper straws and you put them in a drink, it's like mush. It's disgusting. I'm not sure I've ever met anyone who enjoys the feeling of drinking out of a paper straw in a wet drink. It just doesn't work. So these glass alternatives are great. I found a set that have the little bend and then some that are straight. So if you like smoothies or milkshakes or protein shakes, these are great just to keep on hand. And the great thing is, I feel like they just work better when you've got a plastic straw and you accidentally bend it or something and it'll get a hole in it. These work awesome. They also come with the little pipe cleaner type thing. That way you can clean the inside of it. I've put these in a dishwasher, not had any problems. Okay, let me introduce you to my reusable bag collection. Now first, let me see if I can find one of the old ones. One of the old ones, yes. So we have had this set of reusable bags. They're almost like parachute material, but maybe not. This one, oh, this poor one's been sewing up a whole lot. You can see it's had good times. So I had to buy a new set. Again, one of the things that helped prompt this video, because these are a good 6-7 years old, and we use these bags for so many things, whether it's going to the library and taking our library books back or bringing our books back home. It could be putting a pair of shoes in here. Let's say you're going hiking and you don't want to wear your hiking boots back into your car. You put your other pair of shoes in here. Gosh, especially with a kid, you go things for the day, you take things places. So I went and bought another set of them. They're so inexpensive. And I'm telling you, when we use these almost on a daily basis, taking something to work, if you don't need your cooler and you're bringing something, you could just put it in one of these bags. But they have this little thingy on the bottom so you can wrap it up into nothing. We literally just take one of them, shove them all into the other, and hang them on a coat hanger in the coat closet. So we need a bag, we go and grab them. This is awesome alternative. They shrink down into nothing. There are about 7 bags in here. Again, down into nothing. Just have these on hand. You don't have to worry about plastic bags, wasting them. Just great set of reusable bags is a good thing to have on hand. Also, one thing that I like to do is pick up new hand towels on a regular basis. This is just a quarter of the stack of hand towels that I have. Why do I have so many hand towels? Well, because in place of using paper towels, these absorb more than paper towels. You can reuse them more. You can throw it right in the washing machine. We run about a load of laundry maybe every other day, maybe a little bit longer. So they're getting washed on a regular basis. Yet eventually they do break down and you have to replace them. So when I find them on a really good deal, I'll get a set, especially when I know they're this terry cloth, more absorbent type material. But it's so much easier to have a stack of these under the kitchen sink or in the kitchen drawer that you can just grab when you need to dry your hands off, when you're wiping down the counter, when you're cleaning up after dinner, when you've got a big spill. Then using paper towels, and they maybe paper towels are not expensive to you, but you have to use a lot more of them to absorb the same amount this would. So I just, for convenience, like to keep these around, and they definitely help us cut back on the use of paper towels. On that same token, cloth napkins. There is no reason to have paper napkins. Cloth napkins, you can again find them on sale. They don't have to be decorative or pretty. You can find the ones that are on the clearance aisle at wherever you're going. We've had these. I guarantee you could go back on my channel where I've talked about these and you could see these things wear down over time as I've shown them. Because this is how well worn this used to be pretty set of cloth napkins was. But you know what? It still works. Still wipes our mouths, still, keeps our shirts maybe from getting all messy. these are newer, it doesn't matter. We keep a set of these. I think we have a total of about 8. Rotate them. They save us on using cloth napkins or even paper towels. Don't forget about your reusable drink containers, especially anything that keeps something cold. I started this when I was pregnant 9 years ago, and I always had water with me, and I've since always needed water with me. And I'm currently filming, and I always have water with me when I'm filming a video. So this is the one I've got for the day that has my ice water in it. And what it does is you cut down on the use of water bottles. You also cut down on going to get something at a gas station or a store if you get thirsty. If you can just pack one of these in the car, if you're going out for 5-6 hours, fine. It's going to keep it cold. You're going to have something. You're going to get thirsty at some point. Stay hydrated, and you're going to have it readily available, so that you hopefully don't have to stop and get anything. So it cuts down on waste, also cuts down on expenses, and also could hopefully cut down on you going to get a soda because you had that urge. I've got perfectly fine ice water in the car. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below, what is the frugal swap that you use that saves you money and cuts back on waste? I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this video. You can click on that like button, also hit subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead.